Okay, so hey, welcome to the shop. We are working on a boat. So have you ever had those boat projects that just go along smooth and there's no problems, no complications, everything just works? See, that can be a lot of fun, but there's always, in every boat project, the agents of chaos are there and just waiting to make your day just a little bit more interesting. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. I need 6 bolts to finish the job. Got just enough. All right, where's my wrench? Okay. Cut data input cable to exactly 1.2 feet. Right? Done. What? Meters. Last coat of varnish. It's gonna be beautiful. I can hardly wait to see this. Yes. Okay. Okay, so the agents of chaos have paid me a visit, and they visited me in the form of broken wood screws. Now, I know we've probably all have seen this. We tried to take this piece out, and we ended up breaking 4 out of 5 screws as we were doing it. So I thought, well, you know, this would be a good trick to share. This happens a lot, and we kind of figured out a couple of techniques to deal with it. So I would like to show you today how we go about getting these broken screws off. Now, you know, we could, you know, in dealing with this, we could just grind these or cut these off and move the screws into a different location. But you know, I really don't want to do that. So I want to reuse this piece, and I want the screw spacing to stay the same, and I don't want to have to redo the screws on the piece that goes on top of this. So we've got to get these guys out of there, and we'll show you how we do that. Okay, so we got a couple of broken wood screws here we need to get off. We need to get these out of here. So, you know, usually we reach for something like this, you know, a pair of locking pliers, and, you know, I've tried this too, or tried to grab it, and, you know, but I've had really limited luck with these. These jaws just don't seem to grab that threaded end very well, and, you know, end up more or less just wringing these things off, and the locking pliers seem to want to try to dig into the wood as you're doing this. So this is, I've had limited luck with that. What I do use is something like this. Now this is just a pair of end nippers, and for this technique you can use a pair of diagonal wire cutters too, but what we want to do is we want to use our end nippers to get in and grab hold of that screw and bite into it really, really hard. Now, the beauty of this is that because the jaws here are parallel, we're really getting and we're actually biting into the screw with the edges here. We're really getting a good, solid purchase on this screw, and most of the times this works really well to get these out. Diagonal wire cutters can work too, but you know, you can imagine your jaws are more angled, and you don't have quite the purchase that you do when the jaws are parallel. So I'm going to get set up here, and we will go ahead and remove a couple of broken screws with this technique, and then I'll show you another way to get particularly stubborn ones out. A couple of these here just do not want to budge, so I'll show you how to deal with those too. Okay, so let's stop screwing around. Let's get this done. So here I have just a little piece of scrap wood that I had laying around, and I've got one screw here where the head has been snapped off. We have just a little bit sticking out there. Over here, I have one that, you know, let's just say somebody got a little overzealous with the impact driver and cammed out the Phillips head part of the screw, so the screwdriver's not going to work anymore. So we can get these out with our end nippers. Now, first, the one that's been cammed out, we just get those jaws on either side of it, and then we can just hold it and turn that screw right out of there. Or turn the pliers. Point where we can get that out. Easy as can be. Now, this guy over here, let's try him with a pair of wire cutters. Same thing, we're just going to get in there and bite into the screw with our cutters or our nippers. Bite in, squeeze very tightly, and the wire cutters are not quite as efficient as the end nippers. So we'll just back him right out of there, just like that. Now, on this piece here, these are particularly stubborn, so I'm going to the big end nippers, and same thing, we're just going to grab that screw, bite into it, and start working it out like that. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it is backing out. But that screw is going to take a little while because it is in there. So, okay, so getting those screws out, that was pretty easy. I mean, they weren't in there all that tight, and we did have something sticking out that we could really grab hold of and work with. So that was a pretty easy one. What do we do if we say we have something a little more like this? I mean, on these screws, they snapped off really close to the wood, so we don't have a lot to really get in here and get a purchase on. We're not going to really be able to grab this, and these guys are in here incredibly tight. So what we have to do to get these out is basically we're going to cut the wood. We're going to cut them out. So let me show you how we do that. We use a tool like this. This is just a drill and countersink. We use these for drilling a pilot hole for a wood screw, and we have a countersink here so we can sink the head of the wood screw down into the wood, and it will also cut a hole to receive a bung. So this is going to help us to cut the screw out. So I'll show you how to do that. First thing we do is we take the drill bit out and we get rid of that, and this is the part we want to use. The countersink, and we want it hollow in the middle, just like this. So I'll show you how to do this. So we're taking our drill bit out, we go to the screw we want to remove, or we want to cut out of our board here, and we're going to put our countersink right over top. Now, letting the screw go into the middle of the countersink and act as a guide as we drill into the board, like so. So we put our countersink over our screw, and we drill. Let me stop about halfway and show you what's going on. As you can see, our countersink is cutting the wood away from around the screw. So a couple of things are happening here. One, we're removing the wood that's holding onto the screw, so the screw's grip is a lot less now. We're also going down into the board so that we can get a purchase on the screw with our diagonal wire cutter. So, we'll go a little bit and we'll try and see if we can't grab it and get it out of there. And look at that. Coming right out. And there we go. We have our broken screw removed. and it's out of there. So now we still have this little recess here to contend with. There's a couple of things we can do with this. We could, if this is not going to be seen, we could just fill this with epoxy. We could just leave it alone. There's still plenty of wood to purchase on a screw here. Or we could take a wooden bung, put it in there, epoxy it in, cut it off, and then re-drill. So that is our show on how to deal with chaos in your boat projects. So hope you enjoyed that. As always, if you find you have something on your boat that you're curious about, or you have a subject you'd like us to cover, send me a note there in the comments, and we'll see you next time. So keep working on your boat. Okay. Okay, real quick. Okay. Here we go. And action. Okay, so hey, welcome to the shop. We're working on a boat. Hey, let me turn that fan off.